Wellness Warriors, Coach Terry here. I am going to do a 15-20 minute Pilates series at home right now, so I thought I'd videotape it and I'll post it, so if anybody wants to do it on their own time, they can. I'm going to utilize the Yamuna ball. You can definitely use any other ball if you'd like, but the Yamuna ball will be the most effective. If you don't have one, that's okay. I'm not going to use it for everything. I'm just going to warm up my body for about 5 minutes before I get into some of the mat sequence. So I'm going to go ahead and start on my belly, facing downward. We're going to be placing the ball onto the pubic bone and just let our body relax. You're going to find it on that pubic bone and then just go ahead and relax it all the way down if that feels okay for you. Take a couple deep inhales and exhales. Connect your breath to your body and see if you can find the breath filling up through your backside and through the sides of your ribs. Inhaling through your nose. Exhaling, let some air out through your mouth. Let your body melt around the ball. I'm going to take another breath, let the body sink and bear a little weight into the ball and move it just above the shelf of my pubic bone. From here, I'm going to lay down. I'm going to bend those knees. Take a couple deep breaths and see if I can engage the abdominal wall to float my legs up and back down. And float them up and back down. And float them up and back down. Then I'm going to take the legs long, see if I can reach out that right arm and that right leg and lift up that right leg. Lower it down, lift it up, lower it down, lift it up, lower it down. I'll repeat on the left side, extending the left arm and the leg, lifting the leg and lowering, lifting the leg and lowering, lifting the leg and lowering. I'm going to take the elbows and the forearms out a little bit wider, making almost like a field goal position, drawing the shoulder blades down. Take a big breath and start to lift up my upper body, rib by rib, bone by bone, and then back down. And lift up, imagining that I'm a little lizard looking above a blade of glass and seeing what that grass above it looks like. Up, 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 and back down. And you can play with keeping this a real small movement or sequencing and segmenting the spine a little taller. And then back down. I'm going to check out a little plank, little hover position. As the pelvis sinks into the ball, the navel is gently pulling up. So I'm engaging that abdominal wall. I'm pulling the forearms apart so it feels more activation through my backside. And we're going to float right leg up and down, left leg up and down. And in my head I'm thinking, how far can I push that leg back rather than how high I can lift it? So I'm getting extension through the body. And then I'm also finding better strength. And I go ahead and drop the knees down and then straighten the legs again. Drop the knees. And as I straighten the legs, I'm thinking, how high can I press the back of my thighs towards the sky to get full activation of my legs, to get full activation of my backside? One more. And then draw it down. Taking that ball out, I'm going to use the ball now as a tool to assist me with my full swan. So again, this would be a time where you could just use your hands on the floor, or you can use any round ball surface. I'm going to take a big breath and I'm going to bring the ball underneath my palms or possibly underneath my wrist and arm bones. We're going to let the pelvis sink into our mat, driving the shoulder blades down and back as if you're making a little fish hook towards the sides of your ribs, and then we'll lift our bones up in our rib cage one by one and then back down, and one by one and back down, just experimenting with the extension of the front of your body, feeling the segments of your ribs pulling from the bottom to the collarbone. And let's see if we can hold it, maybe explore a little swim, taking one leg up and lowering, take the other one up and lowering, and we can stay here, or possibly going a little faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then draw it down. Take the hands underneath you, tucking those toe pads, either extend the thigh bones and knees off the floor, or leave them off the floor. There's a little ice pick you're gonna imagine underneath your belly. Draw the elbows back towards your feet and your heels, and take a nice big breath in like an elevator. We're gonna go from the basement up to that lobby floor. Now we're gonna hold it here, nice and strong, either knees down or knees up, and we're trying to keep our body as straight and stiff as a board, making sure our head's not dangling down. Remember, those that do classes with me always talk about that being a little Pez candy sticking out. Can you place that Pez candy back in your machine? Or maybe think of it as a dresser drawer. And then tap the knees down, push the bottom back, and let yourself relax. Breathing in and breathing out. Ooh, I just got a nice little adjustment in my lumbar spine. It felt great. All right, let's go ahead and find ourselves on our backside, and we'll awaken the other side. We'll take on our back. We'll lift up and take the ball right underneath our sacrum. So if you can see, I decided to use the older version of my Yamana balls. This is a yellow, but it's the same thing as a gold one. And you're just gonna have it underneath there at the sacrum where you're not in that lumbar. So this would be my lumbar. This here is my sacrum area. So really you're just above the crack. I'm gonna take my hands and place them on the top of the ball, whether you have your thumbs on top or you put your palms all the way and your fingers just kind of go on top of each other. Whatever way is more comfortable for you. Straighten the legs out, and I'm gonna gently press energy and the ball towards my feet. And we breathe in, and we breathe out, and I breathe in, and I breathe out, letting my pelvis melt into the ball. And it almost feels as though my pelvis is slightly tilting into that 12 o'clock. Just a little bit, just what we call a postural tilt, or a 12 o'clock on our clock drill. That little bowl of soup slightly rocks backwards. And then I'm gonna take my hands out and bring them more around either the sides of the ball, or if I can get them all the way around, I'm gonna get them all the way around. Now I'm gonna traction upward. And then we're gonna gently bring our legs up into a table and hold our tabletop. In our tabletop, we're gonna do a few little toe tap arcs. We're gonna take one leg down, bring it back up, taking it down, bringing it back up. I like to start slow, and in my head I'm counting down 4, 3, 2, 1, up, 2, 3, 4. And as I do this, I'm gonna feel what's happening and occurring inside the socket and the joint. That ball of the leg is in that socket. And what do you feel? What do you hear in there? And you might hear some noise as those ligaments and the bones and the muscles all roll through one another. And then I'm gonna start to pick it up. 1, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up, 2. So that we can mimic different paces of movement. Good, and then I'm gonna start to alternate back and forth, looking a little bit more like a windmill, getting those joints all ready to go, because we're gonna do a lot of side series today. And down and up. I always talk about, wouldn't it be great if we just all took the time to do about 15 minutes of side series from Pilates? Our legs would look amazing. Well, now we have the opportunity to really do that. Now let's take both of the legs down and up, and down, and up, and down, and up. And I'm gonna extend one leg out and just see what that feels like. If I can go lower, I'm gonna go lower. If I need to come up higher, I come up higher. The pelvis is staying still, and just the legs are extending out of the joint. And I'm gonna switch it so it looks like I'm just skipping up the side of a mountain. And back and forth, nice natural breathing. Or if you wanna do a little bit more classical Pilates, you could actually do what we call percussion breath, which is it's a double inhale and a double exhale. Whatever you feel more comfortable with. And then let's try both legs, stretching them out, and then pulling both of them in. Stretching both out, pulling back in. And you'll feel as you extend the legs out, how the abdominal wall is contracting. It reaches, and then it pulls back in. One more, it reaches, and it pulls back in. And then we start to get into some scissors. Scissors. Now again, you can add that percussion breath again, and or whatever breath feels more natural for you. And then we take both legs to the sky, and we're gonna lower both legs down. And then we're gonna slowly and softly breathe out, bringing the legs back up. And down we go, and up. In this entire abs series, we're keeping the pelvis steady and just moving the ball of the leg inside that socket, feeling a heavier load on our abdominal wall as we go. And I'm gonna take the legs down and circle them around, just like if we were doing Pilates on a reformer or on the caddy here behind me with feet in straps. We're just gonna mimic that so we get full range of motion out of our leg bones. And then we'll reverse it. Circling up, circling up. And we're just exploring some movement, seeing what we feel like today. Lots of cracking. I'm doing a lot more seated work than I normally am used to. And I'm gonna bring those knees into a table, and I'm gonna start working now the stability of the legs and the mobility of my pelvis. So now I'm gonna take that bowl of soup or that clock, and I'm gonna dump it and then back. And it will appear as though my legs are moving, but there's a difference between the pelvis moving and the legs moving. Hopefully you can see that difference. And a lot of people end up getting confused with this, and they just move their legs. So we want to think, I'm going to use my abdominals to tip my pelvis. Right? We're just tipping that pelvis. Sometimes it's known as the reverse curl, a pelvic tilt. I'm just rocking my pelvis and finding the strength of my abdominal wall to give me this tilt. One more. And then draw the feet back down. Take that out, lie back down, and then your back just feels so good. And for me, I kind of have that sensation of like a icy hot or a Bengay, kind of feel in the back. The back just feels so energized, but yet there's some really great heat that has been generated. Now I'm going to utilize the ball. You don't have to. If you have a brick, you can use a brick at home as well, or nothing at all. I'm going to place it right between my knees and start to do some articulation. So now we're going to really see what our spine mobility gives us as our legs are solid. So we're going to take a big breath, and I'm going to start to rock my pelvis back like I was just doing, and see if we can go one by one, bone by bone, sequence it up to the sky. Now as we're here, I'm going to stay away from the whole pooching out my belly or my chest. I'm going to try to soften that and get as deep of a line as I can all the way through here. Thinking about keeping my hip bones and my pubic bone towards the sky as I try to roll down through my shoulders first. So one by one, I'm going to roll through my shoulders, trying to keep my pelvis up. I'm going to roll all the way through until my tail lands. And then we'll come back up again. We'll rock the pelvis, we'll roll it up in a sequential manner, lifting the hips and pushing the knees away from the head, and then feel like a circular movement, like a conveyor belt, heels towards your bottom. And that's gonna activate a little bit more of my hamstrings. And then I'm gonna do just a little bit of squeezing the ball to add my adductors to this move. So I'm gonna squeeze the ball, a little pulse, hold, then release, pulse, hold, release, pulse, hold, release, pulse, release, and pulse, release. Give me 5 more. 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And then slowly roll this down, one by one, until I get all the way to the floor. Good. Then I'm going to take the ball out. I'm going to put the ball to the side for now. And I'm going to explore my bridge and add a little bit more movement to it. If you need to modify this sequence, then just modify and keep both feet on the floor. You can keep your hands by your side, palms down, or I encourage you to take palms up. You can see how that just flipped my arm bone in its joint a little bit better. Or if you want more challenge, you can take the arms over your head. Now what this does is for a lot of us, it'll pop those ribs. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep my ribs down and my shoulders away from my ears. And then we're going to take a nice big inhale. And as we exhale, we ground the feet, rock the pelvis, and roll up into our full bridge. In our pelvic lifted bridge, we're going to take one leg, bring it to table without trying to drop your hips. See if you can't keep them even. And add some choreography, extending the leg, bending the leg, extending, bending, extending, bending, touch sky, flex foot, lower, point, lift, flex, lower, point, lift, flex, lower, point, lift, bend the knee, tap it down. Shall we try the other side? Here we go. Lift it up, extend it out, pull in, out, pull in, out, pull in, touch sky, flex foot, lower, and lift, lower, and lift, lower, and lift, and bend, and tap. I'm going to re-lift my pelvis, lower it just a little bit, and then re-lift, and lower a little bit, re-lift, one more time, and re-lift, and then roll down, starting at the top of the chain, rolling through that spine until you get it all the way down. Beautiful. Then let's take the hands up to the sky. We'll do a few shoulder protraction, retraction. Shoulder blades, can they come off the mat? And then slide them down into the mat. Off the mat, into the mat, off the mat, into the mat, and then hold. Interlace your fingers. See if you can make a hammock for your head. Bring it right behind your skull. Keep the shoulder blades on the mat. Bring the elbows to your forehead and see how that over rotates for most of us the shoulder joint. And if I take them all the way to the floor, it tends to pop the ribs. So we're going to find a sweet spot for me that I can keep my ribs in place and I can keep my shoulders down. Now my nose should already be slightly knotted. I'm not trying to get my chin to my chest. It's just a slight knot as you draw a line with your nose. And then your head is heavy in your palms, so it does no work. We're going to take a nice big inhale, and halfway through my exhalation as I get air out, I'm going to think about bringing my chest towards my thighs without any movement in the pelvis. So for a lot of us, we tend to grip and flip our bowl. So I'm going to think in my head, can I press my butt bones towards my heels to maintain my neutral pelvic alignment and just curl at my sternum. There's a tail at the end of your sternum. I'm going to send that tail towards the floor and hook it to help me bring it up and back down. And curl up and bring it back down and curl up and bring it back down. And I'm going to curl it up and we're going to hold it here. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, slide those knees up into a table. Option 3, extend the legs out. Option 4, arms by your sides. Now we pump the arms and we get right into that 100. We breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 20. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 40. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 50. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Now I'm going to bring a different choreography. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 more, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bring the knees to table, grab behind them, see if you can rock yourself up to seated. We're going to take a big breath, and we're going to start to rock our pelvis back and sit back up on top of it. So we're going to go from neutral to that pelvic tilt, back up to neutral, that tilt, back up to neutral. Now I'm going to test out. How far can I roll back and drag my feet, stay in my little ball, roll it all the way down. Take a big breath, bring my chest towards my thighs, use my thighs in my hands to help find my tipping point for my ball to come back up. I'm going to do 2 more like that. Rock the pelvis, roll back, drag the feet, take a big breath in, nod nose, curl chest to thighs, and using my hands behind. Take a big breath, rock that pelvis back, roll back, take a big breath in, chest, thighs, rock back up, and hold. I roll myself to my side, and we'll do a little sequence on our side. So option 1 is to have yourself all the way down in a straight line, and maybe bring the feet to the corner so that you look like a boomerang. So my hand to my tail is in one long line. Option 2, more advanced, is to keep it straight rather than having the legs angled. Or if you're feeling like you want a little bit more challenge today for those obliques, you can bring yourself up onto the back tip of your elbow, and notice that I have space underneath my armpit, that I'm not here jamming my side of my neck. I'm just up to the top, right? And I'm just letting my head come in a nice long line here. So this would be more of the advanced version. We're going to take the knees and bring them forward, and I'm going to do a few little clams here. So again, option 1 is to be all the way down and bringing the knees forward. Option 2 is to come up and bring the knees here. So then I'm going to take and press my hands onto the hip crest and push it away and start to open my clam. Just open and close and open and close and open. So we're doing an external rotation of this femoral head. So that's your leg bone, right? Your upper leg bone. There's a ball on the end of it, and I'm just feeling that without any movement in my pelvis. And I'm going to internally rotate it and press and press. So I just took my leg bone and turned it inward. Still trying to keep that undercarriage of my ribs off the mat if I'm up here. And even if I'm on my side, I'm trying to keep a little space underneath that bottom rib to my hip. And then bring it back down. Now we're going to put it together. We're going to go open, close, lift, and back, down. Clam, it shuts. Internally rotates, lift, down, together. Open, close, lift, up, back, down. 2 more. Open, close, internally rotate, lift, back, down. 1 more. Up, down, up, lift, back, and down. So from the clam, I'm going to just stretch out my top leg. And then we're going to hold it here. Option 1 is to stay with just that bottom knee bent. And again, you can be down all the way. Or you can make this more challenging and bring both legs straight. So you can choose your challenge on this one as well. And then we're going to bring that top leg, and we're going to bring it forward. And then we're going to point it back. And as we swing the leg forward and back, trying to stabilize our pelvis, we're going to feel that outside thigh, that inside thigh, feeling the range of motion. And then last one, and bring it together. Then I'm going to draw the heel out and see how high I can toss it without smashing my underside. Point it and draw it down. And press out and lift, and point and lower, and out and lift, point and lower. 7 more, and up, and down, and 6, up, and down, and 5, and down, and 4, and down, and 3, and I'm already feeling that outer thigh start to burn, and 2, and 1, and I can feel those obliques kicking on. I'm going to slightly externally rotate my top leg. So I went from a parallel to a turnout, if you can see that. And I'm going to do little circles, clicking my heels like I'm Dorothy. And we're just going to circle it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep breathing for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Then reverse that circle, going backwards for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. I'm going to lift that leg a little bit, flex the foot, internally rotate, bring that knee towards my chest and shoulder, and press that diagonal. And in, and press, and in, and press, and 7, and out, and 6, and out, and 5, and out. You like it? And 3, and 2. Can you feel that? And 1, and hold. I know I sure can. And take it down. Slightly turn out. I'm going to do a rond de jambe, where it's just really a leg circle on our side. So we're trying to keep our spine stable. As I move the leg forward, I'm going to lift it and take it behind me and around. I'm going to come forward, circle, back, and around. One more. Forward, up, back, and around. Then we reverse it. Going backwards, up, and through, and back, up, and through. One more, and back, up, and through, and hold. Now I'm going to lay all the way down. If you're already here, then you can stay here, and just make sure both of your legs now are in a straight line. I'm going to take my top leg, start to pull it along the inside of the bottom limb of my leg bone. Make sure I've got a little bit of space on my undercarriage of my rib and hip bone. Extend the leg, flex it, toss it down. Point it to get some length, trace it, lift it, flex, and down. And point, and trace, and lift, and flex, and down. Now I'm going to reverse it for 3. I'm going to toss it up, point it down to that knee, trace the leg through. Toss it, and down, and trace, and toss, and trace. And then bring my legs together, flex my feet, and see if I can't lift those legs up. And I'm going to take a little walk with my legs. I'm going to take one leg forward, one leg back, and switch, and switch, and switch, and switch, and bring them together, and lower them down. One last set of my side series that I'm going to do today. I'm going to lift the top leg a little bit, keeping my undercarriage. Take the bottom leg to it for a little adductor. Lower it and lower. Let's try 9 more of these. Up, up, down, down. 8 more. Up, up, down, down. 7 more. Up, up, down. 6 more. Up, up. We've got this. 5 more. And I'm feeling that burn. And 4 more. And it feels so good. Loving this. You got it. 2 more. We're there. And last one. And back and hold. Bring those in. Pop yourself up. And let's repeat it on the other side. So let's go the other side. Remember all your variations and your options. You can take it all the way down. Just relax and see how that feels. Or you can bring yourself up. Pop it just on the back side of that elbow. Keep your underside and your undercarriage, keeping the pelvis neutral and straight. I'm going to glue my feet together, and we're going to lift the clam up and down. And 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3 more turn out, and last one, and then we'll do our internal rotation and lift 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it together. I'm gonna do 5, putting those moves together. So we're gonna go clamshell, opens, it closes, internally rotates, lift, down, close. Open, close, rotate, lift, down, down. 3 more. Open, close, rotate, lift, back, down. 2 more. Open, close, rotate, lift, back, down. Open, close, rotate, lift. Last one. You got it. Open, close, back, lift, down, and hold. And relax. Good. From here, we're going to extend that leg out nice and long. Again, option is to be all the way down, right? I'm going to take my leg, a little pendulum, bring it forward, taking it back. Steady out the spine, steady out the pelvis. Think of your leg, maybe as a grandfather clock, right? And it's just that little hand going back and forth, little cuckoo and cuckoo, back and forth, forward and back. And I didn't really count, so I think I'm about 5 more. Hopefully at home you're counting, right? Again, you want to do maybe anywhere from 3, 5, or 10, a nice strong set, and then hold. And then push that foot away. You can have it flexed or pointed. I personally prefer a flexion to toss, a point to come down. Does it matter? Of course not. Feel free to just switch that up. And extend out and down, and extend and down, and extend and down. And I'm gonna do 5 on this one because I think I only did 5 on the other side. So we'll make sure they're even. And then we're gonna extend those legs out long. I'm gonna come all the way down. I'm gonna take that outside foot, I'm gonna turn it out and do little circles. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Now the rond de jambe is just a little bit bigger circle. So we're first seeing what the range of motion is now. I'm going to try to make sure my underside is there. I'm going to bring it forward, lift, back, and around, forward, lift, back, and around, forward, lift, back. Let's go through the other way. And around we go. And around we go. And around. And hold. Now I'm going to take my top leg. I'm going to start to trace it. Lift it, flex, lower, point. And trace it. Lift, flex, lower, trace. And in. Lift, flex, reverse it. Toss it, take it down, trace it out. Toss it, down, trace, and toss, down, and trace, and hold. From here, take those feet together. See if you can lift them up, right? And then we're gonna go for a little walk, and walk, and walk, and walk, and together, and draw it down. And yes, I just realized that I forgot that side kick, so I'm gonna add that in right here. I'm sure you probably picked up on that out there. So I'm gonna take that leg, internally rotate, bring it in, and push, and bring it in, and push, bring it in, and push. 2 more, and push. 1 more, and push, and down. And then I'm gonna do our tossing up together, 1 leg at a time. I'm gonna go top leg, bottom, bottom, and top, top, bottom, bottom, and top, and up, up, down, down. 2 more, up, down, down. Last one, up, down, down, and relax. And you should be feeling that heat and sensation in your outer thighs. Let me go up and do a couple stretches. We're gonna press themselves up. Either sit on a chair or you can go back to lying on your back, although I prefer seated for this one, and just give me a nice figure 4. I'm gonna flex that foot, use my hand or my elbow, depending on my flexibility, keeping my spine nice and long and straight. We'll do a little forward fold if you have it. If not, if this is intense enough, you'll stay upright. If you've got a little bit more, you're thinking belly towards the thigh and the chest reaching out. Again, maybe you have enough to use your forearm or your hand to give a little extra rotation where we just got done working. Then I'm gonna place that foot right across. And if you're on the floor and you wanna take it sideways just like this, that's fine too. I'm gonna rotate side my right knee, cross over my left. I'm gonna rotate my chest towards the thigh and turn. You can take that elbow, bring it across the backside, and add a little bit more to that rotation if that feels good for you. Otherwise, you can just grab onto it, pull it towards you, and give a nice little thoracic rotation here. And then we'll switch to the other side, taking that foot, bringing it across. I'm gonna pull myself back here. Again, you can stay with that leg, bottom leg long, sit up nice and tall. If you've got some hip hinging that you can give to this to add a little depth to the stretch, feel free. Stay here anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. The longer we stay, the deeper communication we give to the muscles. And then lift up, and then we'll take that, cross it all the way. Use the other hand to help you get that height in your spine. Either wrap the hand around and pull that leg towards you, or if you've got a little bit more out of that sponge of your spine for that unraveling of it, right? We're just unraveling that spine. Take the elbow across and feel free to add a little bit more intensity. And then go ahead and just sit either crisscross applesauce or with your legs out in front of you. Let your hands come onto your knees. Take a couple deep inhales and exhales to let your body take in the workout that we did today. So today's workout for my Pilates practice was really about opening up the pelvis and getting deep into the abdominal wall, and then starting to see if we can't incorporate the obliques into some side series. So hopefully you enjoyed today's workout, and I will see if I can do a few more workouts this week and post them. And let me know what you think, and I can, if there's another format or another focus that you want me to do, just comment below when I post this, and I will see what I can do for y'all.